talk to them like they're still here. They are. We are parts of the universe, and when we vibrate our intention, vibrate that with love, vibrate that with our physical voice, they will hear.
Nicky Alan, welcome to Passion Harvest. I've already got a big smile on my face. Welcome. I'm so honored and excited to have you on the show today.
Hello, darling. Thank you for having me. I've got all my sparklies around me. I feel like I'm at Heaven's Gate. And then when I look at you, it looks like you're in a country palace. So we're in good company together, light and luxury.
Well, you've got a beautiful glow around you. It's like an aura.
Oh, thank you. I hope it's nothing to do with the fairy lights, but it most probably is, to be fair.
No, it's not. You're light and bubbly, and I've got a big smile on my face. For those
Well,
of
that's
the,
what I hope to do.
yes, you're an incredible, profound psychic. And well, I guess briefly, I'd like to start with your background for those of the audience that haven't heard of you.
I was born into many generations of psychic mediums and healers before me, so I was already in that bloodline. My granddad, who was a profound medium, he was superb. He said we came from the bloodline of Mary Magdalene, which would make sense because some of the previous lives I've been exposed to. Growing up, I always saw things. They dealt away to heaven, and I used to see spirit people, but I thought everybody could do that. The landmark was when I saw my dad 2 days after he died in a road accident. And he pulled up next to me when I was walking with my auntie and said, "It's okay, Nicky, I'm fine." And I'm like, "They've all told me that you're dead." So I ran home and kicked off a massive drama because I thought I'd been lied to. And that's when my granddad pulled me aside and said, "You're a very special girl." I was the first girl to break the seventh son of the seventh son lineage. And he said, "But you're going to be profound in what you do." He said, "You'll see angels, you'll see spirit people, but don't be scared, just be scared of the living." But the thing is, at the time, I was obsessed, and I feel this is the empath part of me, and I'm so glad I did do it. I wanted to be a police officer, and I always wanted to be a murder investigation detective or major investigations, and I achieved this. I was very proud of myself. I did it at a very young age. Unfortunately, I got retired, but during the time as a detective, it was very hard because I would see murder victims. I would know if someone was guilty or not, and trying to traverse that kind of difficulty is a paradox because I knew they'd done it, but then how do you prove it's for a court of law? So there's a lot of frustrations then. And at 21, I started doing evenings of mediumship anyway. So I was like this, put on my psychic cape at night, and did loads of readings and gatherings. And then during the day, I was obviously investigating major crime. Then 2003, I got retired. I got a really severe back injury on duty, and it was so complex, it was never going to get better, really. And that was it. My house became alive. This is this book here. This is this story. My house became alive. I had spirit people calling my name every night. My partner at the time heard it. There were lights exploding, dimming, doorbells ringing, newborn babies screaming all night. And I'd try and follow the sound, it'd go elsewhere. It was like the house was alive. And it wasn't until I went with my friend who wanted me to go with her to see a medium that the medium, when she opened the door, said, "You need to serve the spirit world." She ignored my poor friend and she said, "You need to serve the spirit world." And she said, "And the baby won't stop crying until you do." And I'm like, wow, okay. And then literally, I started her circle the following week. Within a month or so, I did my first demonstration of mediumship platform to about 150 people, and it literally skyrocketed. I became everywhere. Everybody knew my name, and I ended up working on television on like angels and really heartfelt, good documentaries and consultations I did on many shows. Not the wannabe stuff, because I'm not that sort of person. I was touring with Colin Fry, the late Colin Fry, and Derek Acora, and everything, whatever you want to aspire to be able to reach the masses, I achieved. And then catastrophically, in 2012, I had a road accident that put me in bed for 5 years, literally comatose. I couldn't hardly do anything. And during that time, I had the most incredible, miraculous angel and spiritual boot camp of my life, and they rebirthed my soul. They rebirthed my energy. My dad come and visited me from the spirit world and said, "You will be working on the most deepest, profound way that you could possibly imagine. And I thought, well, no, I've always just wanted to prove the afterlife and obviously help people develop. That's what I was about. And then suddenly I'm now sitting here with a growing audience. I never intended to do it. I just wrote this book just as a cathartic thing to help people through ME and fibromyalgia, which is what I have from the accident. And it suddenly created a big boom. And again, they wanted me back in the game, as they say. Never intended it. And now I am channeling, which I never dreamt of, angel energy, celestial realms, ascended masters. And they literally said to me, push the button, which they mean record. And so I started, rather than meditating in my own right, I literally go up in meditation and they say, press the button, and they mean record. And I'm channeling prophecy, predictions, messages to humanity, politics, leadership, health, the planet. It's the most incredible thing ever. I still have to pinch myself now. And I love the fact that they do the prophecies, because they'll put in a little prediction that will happen in like a week or so, or even, you know, sometimes the following day, to prove their existence and to prove they're really channeling through me, which I love. Because they know that I'm a bit, I'm not a skeptic, but I'm very open-minded when it comes to spiritual phenomena. I don't think everything is fluffy and spiritual, very grounded. And I think that's what's created my following, if you like, or my support over the years, because I don't do flowery, fluffy, tree-hugging kumbaya stuff.
You're honest. You're straight to the point.
Totally. I have to be, you know, and I think with the credibility of being, you know, a police officer and a detective for 18 years, you know, I won't do all the fluffy kumbaya stuff. I literally am here to deliver the beautiful phenomena of the spirit world, the angel realms, the celestial realms, sometimes the galactics, in layman's terms to us humans. Because I don't know about you, sometimes when you watch some people, you kind of get lost in what they're talking about and, you know, their vernacular and everything. You kind of lose it a bit. And I just say it as it is. And so people brand me with this logo of keeping it real. And I think it's quite precise, actually. I literally say it as it is. Some people might not like it. But I have to stay true to the source, and that's what I do. And I'm very privileged. I can't even speak properly. I'm very privileged. But it is a wonderful energy to be in, I have to say. And it also fits perfectly because I do have mobility issues. I do have disabilities, but you know, this is all mindset, and the love that I'm surrounded by, the love I channel, it keeps me motivated, including all the beautiful people that are there to listen, and I help wake up. So yeah, it's just a brilliant place to be in. Hence why I like sparklies.
Well, you already do. I can feel the energy. A big congratulations on your book. What is the name for people of your book?
Oh, thank you. The first one, they're both, I can't believe they're both worldwide bestsellers. This is Me, Myself and I, Diver Psychic. And this covers literally how I was in I call it my previous life, you know, right up there in you call it industry. I hate calling it an industry, movement, whatever you want to call it. And then the catastrophic 5 years in bed, being suicidal and just wanting to go home, lost my faith, and how the angel realms and the spirit world come in and drag me back to the living. It's the most incredible. Sometimes when I read that book, I go back and think, did that really happen? Yes, it did, 100%. And then this one is The Rise and Fall of Britain's Best Psychic Medium. This is a prequel to this one, because I never ever intended to publish them. I was told to by them, and publishers took them. So this one is when I literally just sorry, I'm getting information from a spirit person.
Oh, what are they
right
saying? Please share.
I've got this lovely lady, and she's got like fine blonde hair. And she doesn't wear a lot of makeup. She's a very natural lady, very kind, very gentle. I don't know if it's Eleanor, a name like that. I can't believe this is happening. And I feel that she had a lot of courage before she passed. So I don't know if a listener will go, oh my goodness, this is my mum, or I'm trying to push her away because it isn't that sort of interview. But I feel like, I don't know if it was like a breast cancer or lung cancer, but I feel that she was saying, I was so brave, but I knew that I had to make sure my girls were okay. And then I went up. So I'm like, okay, so I don't know who she is, but she's there, and she's just got right in the way of this. So going back to the
That's okay.
Instagram.
I'd be interested. I'm just going to say to the listeners, if that relates to someone, please do leave a comment.
Yeah, she's just got a nice, she's got slimish, kind of slim to medium build, and she's in this really light V-necked light cotton jumper, like a cream colour, and she's in a garden. So she must have loved her gardening, must have loved nature. She's such a beautiful soul, and she's just been a bit cheeky and said, "I need to come in." So I suppose so either a daughter will come in or someone that will know her. God bless you, darling. Let me get on with it. So the rise and fall. She's still here. She's not going. So the rise and fall is about what I just said, which was me leaving the police service and then being dragged along to having to work as a full-time psychic medium, and how they taught me to become an ambassador for the spirit world. And it's got the most amazing stories of, murder victims, children, pets. They just cover everything, and it's like an upgrade. They're teaching me how to become this ambassador for them, and the communication in it. If somebody reads that and still doubts the spirit world, I'd eat my hat, because there's even true stories in there, and people have actually written in and said, this is what happened. Nicky's brought my dad through and saved my life, blah blah blah. And and it's hilariously funny. I've put some really funny things in as well, so you'll laugh, you'll cry, and you'll go wow. So I'm really proud of that. And then my third book is actually fiction, spiritual fiction, but it's not, it's fact, which is information that was channeled to me back in 2009 about the plight of our planet and how hybrids are created through the angel realms to create happenings to wake us up to the plight of the planet and humankind. So that's coming out soon. I'm just going through the editing at the moment, and my goodness, it's taken ages. It's really hard, because if you have days where you've got a bit of brain fog, if there's anybody watching that has chronic fatigue or pain or has the brain fog and all the symptoms that come with it, it's really hard to stay on top of everything. So sometimes, and this is how wonderful my supporters are, they just go, okay, she's fine, she's having a couple of days. I call them no days. I'm just no days, I'm doing nothing. So it will get out there, and it is full of prophecy from 9 years ago. Oh no, it's 2009. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh no, hang on a minute. No, it wasn't 2009. It was 9 years ago. I'm going mad.
Yeah, it's
And
okay.
so yeah, so that's coming out as well. So I'm trying to fit the books in with all the rest of the things I do. It gives me quite a challenge, I will say that.
Well, life's busy for you, and I believe, I guess, that the books in themselves are an activation for those that read them.
Absolutely. And I think with the first one, I was told by this lot up there, my little bosses, to put it out. I was doing a blog, and they were saying you need to let people know how to get through crisis to the light.
Mm.
We showed you how to do it, and they dragged me kicking and screaming. I wasn't, oh yes, lovely, I have all the spiritual people come and help me. I was like, oh, go away, I'm not seeing you really. But my little dogs, my two little babies, would be barking their heads off where these presences were standing. I had seraphim there, archangels, my spirit guides, and so the dogs were my kind of I don't know, my temperature gauge, my spirit angel gauge, because they'd
Yeah.
literally they would look and just go absolutely mental. So I knew they were there. I knew they were there because, dogs obviously see, because they're pure souls and they're open to any energy that comes into the ether. And it's a pioneer. They said you will be a pioneer for chronic fatigue and illness and mental health, because when you are given a prognosis, this is the danger of when doctors give you a title and you take that into your soul and take it on board. And they said to me, you're mostly never going to walk again, you're never going to improve, you're mostly going to be bedbound for the rest of your life. Right? When someone tells you that, you then start telling yourself that.
Mm.
And then you can get yourself in this big darkness. And I was in that darkness for a very long time. I longed to kill myself every single day. I was suicidal. And I would look at the morphine bottles next to me and think, well, I've got to do is drink that bottle. But my two little babies, who are now over in Rainbow Bridge, they kept me alive, because I knew as a police officer, because I was on my own all the time, apart from carers coming in, I knew that I'd be found with the dogs crying, and that was a vision that kept me going. And the fact that my dad had told me by 2018, you will be living by the sea, you're going to meet your soulmate, you're going to work so brilliantly, you just won't understand how deep you're going to be, and everything is what you dreamed of. So that was in the back of my mind as well. But then when you have an ego system that's throwing in all this chaos and crisis, um, you're battling. It was the biggest battle of my life. Biggest battle of my life. And then one day I just thought, and this is, you know what, everybody, this is what I'm desperately trying to help people with now in crisis, is that I just ended up thinking, well, I'm not going to kill myself. This was supposed to be year 3. Or 4, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to surrender, because all this stuff that keeps happening, they obviously want me to do something. I'm obviously not going to be in bed. My dad's told me I'm not going to be. So I got naked. I lived in a cemetery. You haven't read half of it. I lived in a cemetery. I was homeless for 8 months because I lost everything. I lost my home. I lost my life, my career. My partner ran off with £65,000 worth of money. I was in debt. I had debt collectors. I was also seriously ill. And I was just laying on people's sofas with my 2 little dogs and a couple of dustbin bags. That was it. That's what I had. Absolutely nothing. Best thing that ever happened to me. Best thing that ever happened to me. Because now the tiniest thing, whether it's bird song or just a raindrop just sitting on a leaf, those things to me are miraculous and beautiful. I never would have thought that before. I was very spiritual, but I became perhaps a spiritual machine, going to the next show, doing my messages, going to the next show, doing an interview, writing in magazines, doing this, doing that. And it just felt like I was going through the motions, and I hadn't actually healed or seen myself and loved myself during that time because of a very abusive past. And so they healed me during those years. They showed me how to love myself. They showed me what I needed to show other people to get on a path of spiritual enlightenment. And it doesn't mean sitting there having to do all the time at all. So these are, this is why they again made me go on YouTube. They made me go on TikTok. They basically said, show what we've shown you. Tell them how it's done. Show them how to get in the light with us. And, it's more important than ever for us to be in this love energy at the moment and this light energy, and to be aware that all of the catastrophes that are taking place, whether it's on a weather basis, leadership basis, war basis, whatever's happening in the planet, we need to say good, because this is getting us one step closer to where we need to be, which is the age of Aquarius, where we're all in this harmonic existence with more compassion, more love, more faith in a higher power, working and connecting back to source and respecting each other. And so we're going to have to go along a bumpy ride to get there. I always remember Julianus, one of my guides, he said to me, when I was really poorly, I went for drum healing, and I was like, it's not going to work. It's rubbish. It's a load of rubbish. I was really angry at them, angry at me for believing they existed. It was just a whole, battle of the mind. And I went for this drum healing, completely out of it. It was like I had an anesthetic. And Julian has come up to me, touched my face, and he said, my darling child, he said, you honestly think we'd want to put you through so we didn't have to? He said, you were so far off your divine path. And he showed me standing in this black brambled forest and this bright white crystalline path. He said, you were so far off it. We had to change your course of events. And he said, but it was really harsh. But we needed to do that to draw you back to purity. I'm like, right, okay. And so he said, the problem is you've got to go back through that forest to get back onto the path. So I'm like, great, that sounds wonderful. And so he said, but you can do it. We will stock the coals and we will give you the energy to get through this. And that's what they did. And so, it's like anything. If there's damage caused, you've got to go through the damage to get to building it back up again. And this is what's happening with the planet and human consciousness. This is why we jumped to this 3D, 5D that everybody's talking about. This is why everybody's talking about being awake. It just simply means connecting with the source, meditating, being mindful, being aware of your own presence, working on any negativity you have in your physical and spiritual and emotional body, eradicating it from that, this energy that's in us is so strong and so potent. So if you are thinking negatively, or if you are thinking that things are going to go wrong, if you are thinking the planet's gone and wrong and it's not happening, that's what's going to be emanating from your soul. And in one channeling, I think it was Archangel Ariel, I think, and Gabriel also said, you don't realize how strong you are. You are all universes connected in this tiny little body. You are connected to the source. So together we can create light. But if you break away from it, you can stay in the darkness and be part of the locust effect of that darkness. And so send love to someone, we can, it's potent, it's tangible. We can actually do that. And I think we've forgotten over the years, because of ecosystems and the way things have gone and free will, that we do have this power within us, and people have lost the ability to remember that power. So for people like me, which they call portal mediums, we have been brought on the planet to channel perhaps galactics, angel realm, spirit world, whatever philosophy base it comes from, to wake people up, to educate them, because it's needed now, because we are in a situation at the moment where it's not critical, but it's not great. The equilibrium of dark, if you want, over light is not right. We're always going to have it, but at the moment it's not quite going right. So if you're seeing the weather disasters that are taking place, you're seeing leaders being taken out, accidents, assassinations, whatever you want to call it. Things are taking place to eradicate all of the stuff that is wrong on this planet. So it will continue. So we can't perceive that as being, oh no, it's all getting worse. It's not. They're digging out and getting rid of the tyrannical. They're digging out the tunnels of where children are being smuggled in the Ukraine, and you know, in all different places, Palestine as well. And it's all happening to dig the roots out that have gone bad and have created rotten trunks and trees and twigs. So to dig it out, things have to be exposed. So we have to ride this bumpy roller coaster until it comes to an equilibrium where we can just rest and say, okay. The reason why we've jumped from 3D to 5D, because people ask me this all the time, what is it all about? Very much 3D is about us walking along, base chakra awareness, you know, doing our bills, having our holiday a couple of times a year or once a time a year, having our family, getting on with life. That's 3D existence. It's kind of like just being there and going along with what the government tell you and what the health organization tells you and all the rest of it. And you're okay. And you've obviously chosen that incarnation because you just want to be closed down perhaps this time, or perhaps you're a young soul and you just crave material aspects, fame, money, whatever it is. The 5D is because of free will, and incredibly, this came down as well once in channeling. They started to change our consciousness. They were going to slowly do it over centuries, but they've started to speed it up a bit, because when we had Hitler do what he did, that's when the omnipresence, the source, the intelligence of the universe said, hang on a minute, we're giving them far too much here. They need to be more conscientious, more compassionate, have more empathy. This is going wrong. We're going to end up eradicating the human race. Incredibly, in another channeling session, they said that the world nearly ended in 2009. I don't know anything about it, still haven't researched it, because I don't look up anything. I'm like, right, okay. And so what's happening is they're saying we need to raise their consciousness now, so that they're aware of the truth. They're aware of you know, the universe. They're aware that we actually are real, that the angel realms are there fighting to try and defend the planet. And it all sounds a bit, you know, like it should be on a feature film, but it's actually true. It actually is true what's going on. This is why I'm part of the GSIC conference, which is the Galactic Spiritual Informers Conference, because all the truth people that have been brought down on platforms such as Facebook and YouTube, and then now the Rumble gang, will all be there to tell you the truth of what's happening, you know, from the COVID jabs to galactic information. And it's already started. You know, people are saying about, oh, it's all rubbish. You know, some people who are skeptical or want to have a go at us, you know, the modern day witch hunt. So explain the Northern Lights, explain the 9 pillars of light in Japan, explain the weather disasters, explain ancient civilizations being pixared out in, you know, in the North Pole and places like that where the glaciers are melting. Explain how there's these places that are physically not possibly able to be built in this day and age, but are now being shown after glaciers have melted. So there's so much truth coming to the planet. And for the 3D people, they're going to be, oh, this isn't great. This is a bit scary. But for the 5D that are in it and know it, and me feeling the pace and the pulse of the Schumann resonance and feeling the heartbeat of the planet, it's just a beautiful place to be in. It's a great time to be. It's a really, really exciting time to be. And people say, oh no, but if my husband's 5D and I'm 3D, is he going to leave me? And when I not see him again, it's like, oh, it's not working like that. And this is where sorry, I'm getting on a soapbox now, but this is where the scaremongers come in. You know, the people listen to the people that say, oh, when the solar eclipse comes, there'll be 7 days of darkness and the devil will be able to enter into you and all this old pants, and oh, this is going to happen, and one day you won't see your family members who are 5D. And it's like, that's all of the dark energy coming in, trying to scare us into opening our energy up. It's just that simple. Because your soul cluster, the family you're in, you'll be connected with 5D people. Your consciousness will all match because you're all in the same soul cluster. So that's not going to happen. So yeah, it's a great fight going on at the moment. I love it. And even before I was aware of all this, you know, my partner used to wake me up because I was fighting, and he goes, oh my God, are you all right? He goes, what are you doing? And apparently I don't even remember it. I'd say, oh, I'm fighting in the colonies in Atlantis. He's like, what? I said, but look, I'm fighting in the colonies in Atlantis, okay? I don't need you to get in my way while I'm doing it. And he'd be like, okay then. And then I'd wake up in the morning and go, did you remember fighting Atlantis? No. No. That's really
Wow.
random.
You're
But,
answering all my
yeah.
questions.
Oh, sorry, I did
No, it's good.
say
It's
I
good.
would.
I have a very easy job with this interview. I have to ask, for those that aren't as perceptive or perhaps as gifted as you are, you keep talking about realms, the spirit realm, the celestial realm, the galactic realms. But novices who watching this show, what are they and how do you connect with them? That's two questions.
Oh, that's a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant question. So how I see it, it's really hard to describe frequency, sound, and light. Okay, if I start talking about the quantum space and start going into, I'm going to lose everybody, right? Because that's just too much for me. I can't be doing all that. So I look at it as, you know, you've got TV waves, you've got radio waves, you've got microwave waves, all the rest of it that are going on, Wi-Fi. We just accept that they're there, don't we? We accept these frequencies that connect the telly to light up and entertain us. We accept that the microwave's going to like defrost our joint, our meat or whatever. We just accept it all. So what is the problem with accepting that there is also a frequency that holds sentient intelligence that comes from the angel realms? There is also a frequency that connects to the spirit realms. There is also a frequency that connects to the galactics. So that's fact. And, you know, just to give you an example, the Schumann resonance, they used to say there isn't a heartbeat of the planet, it's absolute rubbish. No. But now the scientists can actually measure it and show you the frequency of it. If you go over to their website and have a look at it, now people accept it because the scientists have said it's there. Do you know what I mean? So as soon as they say, oh yeah, we actually can measure spirit waves, which we can through EMF, as soon as they accept it, all the 3D people accept it. However, if you're a complete novice and you think, wow, I really want to connect with this, because believe me, when you sit in the energy and start working it, the synchronicity and the signs and the miracles that take place are mind-blowing. You just think, how did they do that? So the simplest thing, and it's not difficult, meditate. This is why I've created so many guided meditations on my YouTube channel and on my website to literally take you to these realms. And the more you do it, the more your consciousness will go, I remember this place, I've come from here. And it will literally send you up there automatically through meditation. You can go to spiritualist centers, do workshops, you can go to circles. But, you know, again, I was in Rise and Fall, which has got all this information in it on how you develop. But basically, to do it yourself, fast track for free, just do meditations, meditate. And it doesn't mean sitting there for hours. You can do it walking in the woods, walking in nature, walking, you know, I ordered, because they taught me how to cosmic order as well, my beach, which is that way is 1 minute. And then I've got a nature reserve with lakeland and woodland and forest that way. And so I just think, right, I need to ground myself. So I've got grounding products, but I also ground myself just barefoot. And I think I need to get out away from humans and just walk. When you're doing that, you close your mind down and just open to being in the present. That's when things come to you. All of my biggest messages, visions, apart from when I'm sitting channeling on my channel, have come from those walks. So if you're a fisherman, you know, if you swim, whatever it is where you stop thinking about human stuff and you're doing something you love, gardening is another one, and your mind is empty, they can flood in with information. So for instance, you know, you could be sitting there, just say you've got divorced and you're perhaps renting a house and you've got kids and you're like, oh my God, this is a nightmare. And then someone like me comes up on the screen and they says, oh, you can connect with the angel realms, they'll help you. And you're like, whatever, but I'll give it a go. And the please help me, please help me. No, nothing's happened. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. Okay, you have to put in to get out, and it isn't a lot of putting in. You invoke them. I do it every day. I think, right, what angel is good for me today? So today is Gabriel. Okay, Archangel Gabriel, the messenger angel. If you've got anything you need to tell me for humankind, please do. Okay, and so I work with his energy, invoking them. They're sitting there waiting for you to ask them for help. So that's the first thing. And then all you have to do is keep your vibration raised, keep away from negative people, keep your place perhaps sage if you've got a lot of busyness going on, if you've got a lot of people living in your home. Set aside you time where you can empty your mind, and it's very hard to begin with. Emptying your mind, got to pick the kids up, got to take the dog to the vet, got to pick up some dinner. You know, it's really hard to get rid of those base chakra thought processes. But once you've smashed that and you just sit and think, I'm here, I've invoked you, I've asked Michael to come and give me strength. And then you just sit for a minute, imagine the blue ray of Michael standing by you, giving the strength and courage to move forward. I also ask now for Jophiel, the Archangel of Abundance, please bring us something in so I can get a better home for my children. I asked Archangel Raguel to come in also on his Power Blue Ray to help me assist with this divorce and help me to have a favourable outcome. I know that you will help me. I know that I will be glorious in and attract abundance. I know this to be. Thank you. And that's it. And then when you're walking, when you're taking the dog out, whatever you're doing, just connect and say, I'm aware you're with me. Thank you for bringing me what I've asked. So you're affirming it rather than begging it. You know, verbal demands, verbal begging, verbal wishes from an ego state of being is not going to reach the universe. Calm, confident, full of love and compassion is. So it's eradicating everybody that you hated, eradicating people that have done bad to you. Get rid of them. They're just hanging on your energy like this, and you're heavy before you can start. Get rid of them. I can see why you did that. Thank you for honoring your soul contract with me, for being a complete a-hole. Thank you for that. Off you pop, and you are suddenly more empowered because you're not demeaning them, but inside you're like, you're not renting me anymore, you're not controlling me anymore. I would feel sorry for what you did, but you also honored the soul contract that I must have signed to allow you to treat me like this. Off you pop. And then what else is creating problems for me? I can't stand my boss. Can you please show me or bring me a person that can take me to a new job? Thank you. I look forward to my new job, right? And I literally thought, doesn't work. I'm sitting here now talking to you in a house that I ordered with my soulmate, and everything is absolutely wonderful. Obviously, my health isn't great, but that's mostly part of being a light worker anyway. Most light workers have problems with fatigue and pain because your body's so light and so forceful, not forceful, but it's so strong and it resonates on such a high level. I don't think it fits in a meat suit very well.
Right.
So most of my friends, light workers, medium healers, they have the same issues. But I would rather be in this state of mind where I know I've got the most hugest invisible army behind me, then feel alone like I did on those desperate days, months, years where I just laid in the darkness and I literally just turned the telly on, binge watched everything I could, and then slept on and off, cried on and off, and it was just horrific. I still can't believe my whole of my 40s basically disappeared in a flash. They totally did. And it was horrific. So for me to even just reach one person and say, just meditate, just press play and let me take you to Atlantis. Let me take you to the Crystal Palace. The Crystal Palace, I didn't know anything about it. I don't read, I don't research, I don't do anything like that. I can't read anyway at the moment. I can't take on reading books, which is such a shame because I used to love doing that. But I literally get everything organic. And then if they say press the button, they also mean either record or Google it, depending on what colour it is. So they say Google it, and I go, oh, that's a real thing they've just shown me. That's great, you know. And so this is what I wanted to try and instigate for people. This easy gateway, you don't have to analyze it. You don't have to think, what are the semantics of reaching another intelligent being? You know, how do I get there? So they basically showed me it's see, the thing is, this is the other thing, it's not all physical, right? So angels don't really have wings, but they show their wings to acknowledge they're an angel. Otherwise humans would be, what am I looking at? Because if you're just looking at light, frequency and color and sound, you're hearing sound, that's not going to help you, is it? So they create imagery in our third eye so we can identify and accept it whilst we're a human down here, right? So they created for me the Crystal Palace. And I found out when I hit the button that millions of people have been to the Crystal Palace and I had never heard of it. And it's a turreted fairy tale castle. And you walk through the door, there's always an archangel at the door. And I used to think, I'm going to take my students here. I've taken hundreds, thousands of students there in my seminars and workshops. And I literally take them up to the door and I say, okay, I'm going to leave you here. Now off you go. Again, it's another guided meditation. That's the home of the angels. You've got different archangel chambers there. You've got the omnipresence, which is the source of the universe. If you've got high enough vibration, you can go in and experience that. There's a big eye in one chamber. You've got the seraphim, the celestial gardens, the healing pool. There's so much there. And it was incredible, Louisa, right? This is incredible. Is that when I first took it, made me go, oh my goodness, right? Because when I thought, I'm going to take my students up. I'm going to take my students up because I don't want this to be a figment of my imagination, you know, that I've created. This was years ago, years and years ago. And so when I was first, you know, became a full-time working medium. And so I went, okay. And I took them up, my lovely, beautiful, my first group of students in the circle. And I took them up and I said, right, I'm going to leave you at the door. And so I can see where souls are. So I was checking all the souls. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, they're in the chamber I've seen before. And then I'm thinking, I could be making up because this is no matter how long you do this for, your ego still goes, is that real? Of course it's real, but sometimes the right hand brain gets in the way. And so when they came round, someone said, well, I walked through this hallway, went straight ahead, and I thought she's going to the Celestial Garden. She's going to go through some roses and this like structure, this archway structure of fauna. And she goes, and I went through this archway and I went, yeah. And she goes, I came out of these beautiful gardens with roses and there was these ladies in long robes. I'm like, get in, it's a seraphim. And then someone else said, well, I went through that door and turned right and I thought that's the eye chamber. And that eye chamber reflects your soul and tells you what needs eradicating and what needs embracing and nurturing. And I went there and I'm like, oh, and I was more excited than them because they were going in the same areas in this mental mind map to the different places. And the reality layer is heaven. It's part of the frequency. It's like this whole gathering of frequency and energy and light and sound and color that you could possibly, oh, you couldn't imagine how vibrant it is. There is no way to describe the color and light when you're up there and you're sitting in the energy. And especially when I can go around to the reality layer and go around and know exactly where my nan's house is. And I go and knock in, I go, right, love, have a cup of tea and sit with my babies that have passed, my little fur babies, and have a cup of tea with me nan. And let me tell you this. So when I get so excited, sorry, darling, but when I remember when my mum passed, okay, I've had a very tragic life. My brother and sister have been through a lot of trauma in our lives. And my dad, as I say, died when I was 9. He's always been there, He's so cheeky. He's always there. He mostly allowed that Helen or Elena in, whatever her name was. Right. So anyway, he's always been there. So one day, about a week after my mum passed, which was only 5 years ago, it's a long story. She had lots of alcohol problems and she just lost her will to live when my dad died. They were just absolute soulmates. So I went and saw my mum and she looked amazing. I'm like, you okay? She's going, yeah, I'm fine. And I thought, am I thinking this? So my dad knew this. So he comes in this room and goes, come on, come with me. And he pulls me through all these hordes of spirit people going, oh, can you just speak to my daughter? Can you just speak to my dad? Can you? And I'm like, no, he goes, no, step back. Like Kevin Costner in Bodyguard, get back, right? And he literally dragged me out to this room. And then we come to this most beautiful seaside road, which is full of Victorian buildings, which looks like Hastings in Essex, in the UK, sorry. And I'm walking, I said, what are you doing? He goes, I can't believe even now you still have a little thought process where you doubt that we are really connecting with you. He goes, it does my head in. And so I said, I'm sorry, but I need to take it back to everybody that's listening to me. He goes, oh, for God's sakes. He goes, excuse me, mate, come here, excuse me. So this really tall man comes along, lovely man. And he says, can you give her some information so she can Google it when she gets back to prove that we're actually up here in the reality layer? He said, sorry, mate, she's a nightmare. This man goes, okay, goes, I was a musician and there's a photograph of me in my band in a place called Stockton Growers. And I'm like, that don't sound right. And it's Old Stockton Hall. He said, Google it. It's in California. And he said, you'll see me there. And I used to play the music in the band for years. And he said, you'll see me there. And he said, and then you'll know this is completely right. He goes, is that enough, mate? And my dad goes, yeah, that's fine. Thank you. And then off he pops. So I stay up there for about an hour or so. My dad's talking to me about stuff, and they chuck in now and then. They'll say, this is going to happen next week, just to let you know. And then it does. And you're like, oh, I really was there because they predicted it. They knew that was going to happen because they've got our soul maps up there. They know what's going to happen to us. That's how psychics can tell the future, because they have a little access code to people's soul map. So that's how they can predict things. So as soon as I'm awake, even though I love seeing my mum and dad, I'm like, oh my God, I need to Google it. I need to Google it. So I come back down here and I'm Googling Old Stockton Hall and Stockton Growers. And it actually is a town in California. There was a hall there. There was a picture of him in the band that used to play there, the resident band. And I was gutted to find out a couple of years ago, it actually burnt to the ground. So thank goodness there was still old, research facilities there to find out the original hall. But it all existed. And it isn't like Station Road, or a place that perhaps you might know in New York. It was so random. Who's ever heard of Growers Hall?
No. And it's
So
wonderful to have that I know we all doubt ourselves at times, but it's great to have that validation.
I think so, because people, the reason that I have to try and make this clear to people is I'm not really special in any way. The fact is I've surrendered, and I've had the trust and the faith to just give everybody, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, what they're telling me. I will not get in the way of it. I will not change it. I will not allow my ego system to get involved in it, and I'll give it straight. And the thing is that people have been shaped, if you like, by society, by the government, by whoever, to be these beings that are just like ants walking around, head down. Don't shout as you'll get arrested. Don't do this as you'll get fined. Make sure you do that. You can't go and see your dying nan because of the COVID pandemic and all the rest of it. And they're all okay. So when you start talking to them about, I've just sat in the frequency of Archangel Ariel, they're like, wow, how'd you do that? Everybody can do it. That's the secret. Everybody can do it. But religion, peerage, parents, everybody said, it's wrong. Oh no, they're the weirdy ones. They're the witchy woos. They could bring evil in. They don't know what they're dabbling with. So straight away, a lot of people that perhaps are open to it are condensed into this. I can't do it because I'm a Catholic. I can't do it because my mum says it's evil. I can't do this, can't do that. And so they look for people and put them on a pedestal of, wow, you're great. But no, it's nothing to do with that. We can all do it. We're in this persona or this belief system that we're not able to connect to something so magical. And once we get over that and think, I deserve to be helped by the angels, I deserve my dad to come in and say, hello, darling. I ate it. My mum comes in. She always used to, right? If we had a roast dinner or we were doing potatoes, I am, because my hands hurt quite a lot, so most of the time I can't use cutlery and stuff like that. But so I kind of do this around a potato, right? And when my mum was alive, she goes, for God's sake, she goes, we can have chips and potatoes there. Just look at the thick lumps of peel. She goes, you're wasting the potato. I go, oh, shut up, mum, you do it then. Right. She always used to say it. And every time I get a potato and my hands are able to actually grab it and peel it, I can hear her, can you get it a bit thinner? I'm like, I'm serious, mum. Don't even go there. And then there'll be a huge bang in the lounge. And my partner will come and go, what was that? What was that? And I It's my mum. She's just having a laugh. She's backing up the fact that she's having a go at me because I can't do my potatoes.
Oh, how funny. What an
And
inspiration you
just,
are, Nikki. Sorry, please go
oh,
on.
thank you so much. No, I was just going to say that the biggest thing that people say to me, the most commonest comment on all of the different channels that I do is, oh, you know, my mum died 2 years ago. I hadn't heard a thing. Haven't heard a thing.
Yeah.
Well, first, do you know what to look for? Two, are you connecting with her? Talk to them like they're still here. They are.
Talk
They
out
are.
loud. Sorry, out
Yes.
loud, as if I'm.
Vibrate your voice out there, because we are parts of the universe. And when we vibrate our intention, vibrate that with love, vibrate that with our physical voice, they will hear. So rather than go, Mum, please, you've got to come and visit me. I really miss you. Oh my God, I hate it. It's like, I just literally say, hello, like my babies. I only lost my other one a few months ago. It was
Oh,
horrific because we
sorry.
were going to Spain for 3 months. No, he passed the day before we went. I knew he wasn't coming with us. And suddenly it came to an end of an era, because they were my life, Teddy and Mia. They kept me alive. And Asia told me this once, that's in that book, Me, Myself and I. She told me that they will keep me alive. I didn't know what she meant. And so I miss them desperately, because they were my life for that amount of time. And people don't get that. They just think, oh, it's just a dog, especially if you've got family and you get
Oh
a
no,
dog.
they're
You know,
like
it's a dog.
children.
Of course they are. And they were my babies, and it absolutely has devastated me. But just now and then, you know, I just say, for instance, yesterday I was doing, no, sorry, it wasn't yesterday, a couple of days ago, I was doing a tarot reading. I do tarot readings for people, just put them on the channel. And I said, hello, baby girl. Look, I just have this one here. Teddy's one I've got a frame. Right, so there's one of them,
Aw.
my little Mia. And so I said, hello, baby girl. I said, how are you doing today? I said, you're a bit naughty. I haven't heard from you in a couple of days. They must think, oh, for God's sake. So I do it with my dad, my nan, anybody. There's only me and my brother and sister, auntie and uncle left. The rest have passed. They're all up there. They obviously didn't want to do a long term down here this time. And so I say, just let us know, darling. Just let us know if you're about. And so I said, right, I'm going to do some work now, darling, but if you can let me know. So then I'm doing this reading, and my friend Mitch Garnington sent me these wonderful, they're so cute. He sent me these cards, right? And I hadn't looked through all of them because I didn't really want to. I just wanted to feel them. Oh my God, I can't believe it's on the top pile. And they're called, look, they're called Guiding Pause Tarot,
That's
right? And guys, I just thought
adorable.
I'd send these because, you know, your babies are past, and I just wanted to send you a little present. So I'm doing the reading like this, all like happy and great, and suddenly that card comes up.
Oh,
Look at that dog. That is exactly the same as Mia, the same markings, the same colour, the same face. I couldn't believe it. So I lost it a bit in the middle of the reading. And I went, Mia. I said, good girl. Afterwards, I said, good girl, was that you? And then the Alexa came on. She heard me. And her song that I've connected with her, she used to be called Mooney when I rescued her. She was a puppy farm victim, and I got her at 1 year old through a brilliant UK charity called Many Tears. And so I changed her name to Mia. And I said to her after she passed, I said, right, okay, because you're called Mooney, I said, let's do synchronicity together. That is a moon. Okay, that's so Whole of the Moon, the song Whole of the Moon. I said, that's going to be your song. So as soon as I've stopped doing the reading, seen her picture on the card, didn't even know it was on there. And then the A word turns itself on and Whole of the Moon comes on
that's
completely on its
wonderful.
own. And so, and it's not me keep going on about my dogs, but I'm just trying to show people through the journey of grief how if you engage and talk to them like they're still with you, and they are, then they will do more things. The more you get excited, the more you verbally acknowledge them doing things, they'll go, yes, I smashed that one. Let's do this next. So it's like the easiest way that I can describe it, because people say, well, how do you mean they're with us? You know, they're not with us. Yes, they are. I've mostly got couple standing with me now, you know, unless I push my energy back, I can see who they are. But I know I've got a couple of people here. I know Julianus is here. He always is, because he loves stuff like this, because he likes popping in a bit of philosophy. But literally, they have you seen Stranger Things?
Um,
Have you seen
maybe, maybe not. Is it a
right, okay,
series?
Stranger, yeah, it's
No, I haven't.
they
Is it
call it
good?
sci sci-fi fantasy series. It is absolutely
Oh,
brilliant.
I'm going to write
It
that
is a
down.
massive iconic series. It's Stranger Things is literally one of the highest downloaded Netflix series in history. The
Oh,
next
I've
season
got
is coming.
Netflix, so
Everybody's
I will watch
waiting.
it. Okay, I've never seen it. I mean, I
It
think I've
really is.
seen
It's
the
brilliant.
thumbnails, but
It's not so much spiritual, it's interdimensional sci-fi and fantasy. But to me, and people will most probably say, yeah, I've seen Stranger Things, when one of the children gets lost in a different dimension because the darkness has taken him, right? He comes back and he can illuminate lights. So it's like he's looking through a bubble of I don't know, gel. So he's there going, Mum, I'm here. And she's going, are you here? Are you here? He's going, I'm here. And then he starts making the lights go. And so she can, and then she suddenly hears him vaguely. And then everybody thinks she's going mad because they think, obviously, she's grieving the fact her son's lost. They think he's been kidnapped and murdered. And then it happens again in one of the next series where a group of them are caught in this different realm. And so they're trying to push through. They can see everything going on. They know all the thoughts, they know every single move of all the people they love, but they can't get through this gel. And so they start creating intent to illuminate a voice box thing. You know, that the kids do, like Etch a Sketch and things like that. And they start
yes,
manipulating those, communicate with the humans to say we're alive, we're just stuck in a different realm. And I'm like, that's just like the spirit world.
it's
It's just
so
like the
that
spirit
so
world.
it's here. It's just on a different frequency
Yeah,
vibration.
it's a different
It's not
parallel. Yeah,
far,
it's
far away.
no, but they're not. And this is the thing. We kind of the reason why mediums and psychics say that's they're up above is because everybody tends to think that the realms are in the sky or up above because angels fly and your baby that you possibly lost has got angel wings now. So every kind of aspires to the sky. The reason we do that is because the intent of you feeling and looking up basically sets off your throat and your third eye on your crown divine chakra without knowing it. Because we then start saying, okay, we're going to activate your throat and third eye and crown chakra, people go, oh my God, I don't know that. How do I do that? And then straight away, if you say, okay, let's just reach up, just look up, already they're halfway there with their intention because without knowing it, looking up and embracing what's there, they're actually starting to energize and perhaps start to work their upper divine chakras. That's why we do that. It's always been there. It's always been there. We've been there since we worship the sun, we worshipped the elements, we worshipped everything that was on this planet, we were connected. And religion thought we're not having any of that. They're too powerful. They're too free. Let's change their Pan, who's the king of the elementals, into the devil. Let's do that. Let's make Pan, who is, a horned half goat, half man. Let's change him into the devil. Let's create that and put that in their minds that that's bad because we can't have these people ruling the world because we can't get money, we can't get control, we can't have it. And what about 666? That's an angel number. That's a brilliant, strong angel number in numerology. It's really strong. Let's make it the devil symbol. Let's chuck it in the Bible and say that that's really bad, right? And if you can connect with the Holy Spirit and you can connect with Archangel Gabriel, and you can follow a star, right, in astronomy. But if it's through a medium, it's blasphemous.
Interesting.
And it's all about control. It's making us sit in the back pages of 0898 numbers. It's making us the tree huggers. But look where we are now, darling. We were the ones that said, don't take the jab. I don't want to go too along the lines of this, otherwise we'll get closed down. But don't take it, don't do it. And now what's happened? They've admitted that it killed people. They've admitted it created blood clots and it's been banned. And you're like, we told you. But it's just so difficult sometimes to make people aware of the actual intelligent sentience and the amount of frequency awareness that they can attain if they just close their minds and reach up and just let it happen.
Yeah. And I
But instead,
I
oh, go
absolutely
on,
love
darling.
how you said speak it out loud. It's almost that vibration calling out to the universe, whether it's our loved ones in spirit or angels, the celestial realms.
Exactly.
It's
So
wonderful.
Absolutely. And, people say, well, how do I do the angels? How do I do the spirit world? I said, at the moment, you don't know how strong your auric field and your connective energy is. So just open up and see what happens, okay, safely. So that's why I do my guided meditations, to open your energy up, open the chakra points up, go into the frequency. And if you, mind you, most of the time, if you intend, I want to speak to my mum, you'll go to reality layer. I want to connect with angels. They'll go, oh my God, great. Come on and join us,
They're
I want to speak to
waiting.
galactics. If you're a star seed, I feel like I need to be home in Atlantis or Andromeda. Do it. And then wait for the results. And then they will just back it up when you're back on terra firma, if you like. And I've brought you down, or whoever you're listening to, or, if you go to a class and they've brought you back down, close your energies down, you're grounded. And then suddenly something will happen and you'll think, that's a sign from my mum. That's her favourite song. Or, a ladybird will land on you and that was her favourite insect, whatever it may be, the synchronicity and numerology. They use number plates so much, but numerology everywhere. Mine is 111 everywhere I go. And eventually I said, look, what does 111 mean? And they just press the button. So I Googled it and it was about spreading awareness and development and the words of the angels through creativity, new beginnings. And I'm like, it was just basically a message to me of where my life is going now and has been for the last year or so. Because I tell you now, because people say, oh yeah, but it's all good, you've got it all sorted. I felt like that. If I just wished that there was someone like me, and I don't mean this in an egotistical way, I've got no ego in my bones at all, I absolutely promise you. But I wish that I could have sat in my bed during those 5 years and seen someone like me that was just says it as it is with no ego, right? So what I did was last year, and manifesting money is another one. People say, I've got no money. Why would they let me be skint? And I'm a good person and my husband's a bad person. He's got the house, all the rest of it. First, get rid of material aspects out of your life. Don't worry about them because they'll provide when they need to. So just 1 year ago, Mia had just passed, that baby I just showed you, my fur baby. And I was a bit down anyway. And I've been doing loads and loads of videos. I kept doing exactly what they said. You shall speak. And then we're putting on my phone TikTok. I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. You shall speak. YouTube. You shall do this. And I followed them to the latter, right? Because they brought me back from this comatose, horrific state of nothingness. And so I was on my beach, my ashes are so going on that beach. My beach, and I was walking along. I had £230 in my bank account. Right, I couldn't even pay in my own right to get Mia's ashes done. It's like on a credit card, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I've got £230 for the rest of the month. This is just not right. And so the thing is that the other thing is people say, oh, you shouldn't charge for your gift. No, I don't. I don't charge at all. But if I'm creating a book, then I live in a material world. I've got to pay my bills as much as, the other person. So yes, you have to buy the book. Unfortunately, you have to, pay for a download, or I provide them for free, whatever you want. So don't want to get too involved in that argument of mediums being paid and all the rest of it. But I said to them, look, if you want me to reach more people, I need a team behind me. And teams will not do things for free. We all need to live. I said, sometimes you forget, and this is what people should be saying. Sometimes you forget we do live in a material, dense energy here, and we do need the money to live, to eat, to clothe ourselves and have a roof over our heads. And I said, and I'm not being funny, I can't reach anybody else without having to pay for people to help me. Again, looking up, aspiring those chakra points. I was sitting on a rock looking out to the sea as I always do. And I said, so I need you to bring me the people, but also to bring me the money. And I said, it doesn't have to be too much, just enough that I can say to someone, thank you for your input. How much do you charge? And then within 3 days, I had an invitation from Alex Ferrari. I don't know if you know him. He's a wonderful man, very highly esteemed on here. And then a week later got invited to GSIC to Florida for the conference. So I rested before, went there, rested after, and then suddenly it boosted all of these people. And part of those people, part of those followers have now come in and said, look, you need help with the YouTube channel. I can do that. You need help just doing a bit of marketing because you're not doing anything. I said, no, I'm not. I haven't got the energy. I haven't got time. I'll do it for you. And so it literally, as soon as I said, I need this, just enough to be able to get myself out to more people that need my help or would like to hear what I have to say. You need to fix it. So if anybody out there that listens to this thinks I'm just struggling for money, this isn't about winning the lottery. It's not about getting a mansion and getting your boat, which I'd love. I'd love a boat. I'd love a boat because I am just, oh, I could live in the sea. I was a mermaid at some point, definitely. But you know, that's just frivolous rubbish, because unless you're surrounded by love and happiness, it doesn't matter what you sit yourself in. You can sit yourself in a big palace of your dreams. It will not change who you are and how you feel. And so I just needed enough, and pop, it came in, and now I've got the most beautiful team around me. And I didn't initially, I kind of put something out there and said, can someone help me? And then I just left it. And I said to Lorraine, who I also ended up helping, my friend, because she needed to work and things had changed for her. And I said, oh, come and do me emails. I'm getting like 500 a day. So come and help me. She's like, oh my good, brilliant, you know.
Yeah.
And they're not greedy. They're all wonderful, beautiful beings. They're all light workers, and they're all enabling the process of us getting out there, you and me. And that's how the angels work. It's even in me, myself, and I. When I'm laying there, not a penny. I literally, all I cared about was feeding the dogs. I couldn't go shopping. Couldn't even compute how to get things going. But my friend used to bring hampers when I surrendered, which is another story in itself. But what happened was, it was freezing one day. I managed to rent this place, which was a miracle, because all my credit had gone. So they manifested that. Don't ask me how. I do not know how they did it, but they just told me to tell the estate agent I was going to rent this place. I didn't have a penny. All right, that's how incredible it is. And so the boiler stopped. It was absolutely freezing cold. I had the babies under the blanket, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. It was like, you know, when it gets damp cold, because it's so freezing cold in there. And so I said, please, I said, I know you're teaching me other things, but you really need to bring me in something, because I need to get the boiler fixed. I'm asking, Joffael, please manifest this for me. I really do need it, and I thank you for it. To this day, the amount that came in covered a plumber coming in and getting my boiler running, right? To this day, I still do not know where that money came from. It appeared in my account.
I
And
love that. That's
and there was
amazing.
some random reference. I'm sure there was an angel number in it. And I didn't say anything. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say to the bank, well, you made a mistake, because it
No.
came back. But I to this
I
day,
love
and
that.
I've never known where that came from. Well, I do know. The
Of
angels manifest.
course, yes.
Don't ask me how.
Celestial
And
miracles, yes.
yeah, and just jumping onto that very quickly as well, is that people say, oh, they can't manifest that, they can't do this. Yes, they can. Again, just rise and fall as well. Just the things that they can create and manipulate and bring you to. It's like they're not. So, for instance, the people say, well, how did I hear my dad's song 3 times? My dad always does his song, Bridge Over Troubled Water. How do they do that? I said, all they do is they whisper suggestions in your ear. So just say, if they suddenly know that your dad's song is playing in the shop, they'll go into the shop. And then you think it's your thought. Oh, I think I'll go in this shop. They've just whispered it to you. Go in the shop. There's Dad's song. Oh my God, it's at the coffee shop as well. Go. Do you want a coffee? You want a coffee now? Go and have a coffee. And you walk in, and it's in there again. I had it in, of all places, Phuket in Thailand, right? And this was when all hell was going to get loosed after the accident, and I had to honour the holiday because it was just after the accident. But I was in a wheelchair. I was rubbish, but I thought, I'm not going to lose it because they wouldn't give me my money back. So went to Phuket, and this is in the middle of a Thai market, right? So I said, I can't do anymore. I'm too exhausted. I'm in this wheelchair. So we go into this restaurant, and Bridge Over Troubled Water comes on. It's all ding, ding, ding music. And then suddenly I went, I was with my friends, and they went, oh my God, that's your dad's song. I went, and then the second song was Daddy's Home. And then it went back to Thai music. Went back to the hotel, and in the restaurant, Bridge Over Troubled Water was playing. And then I went back into my room, and it came up. In those days, it was an iPod, and it started playing randomly on the iPod out of about 6,000 songs. But when I went, yay, Dad, I thought there was something in me. And this is about you listening to your intuition when you get these signs, right? And going with whatever comes into your intuition. In my solar plexus, which is just above your navel, I was like, so I feel right. I think this is like, I'm with you, because it's going to be tough. It's going to be really rough. And then when we got back, that's when he flitted off with all the money. I lost my home, became homeless. So it was a preparation of, darling, I'm with you. I've got you. I'm creating all of this stuff to let you know I'm with you. And that really helped me through to begin with. But then obviously the bedbound stuff was another story.
Oh gosh.
But so that's how they work with you. So when you feel a random or spontaneous feeling to do something, like I'm going to go to that meeting, you could meet your soulmate there, go to the meeting, or you could find someone that gives you a new job, or go for a walk now. Oh, put it off. No. If you've got the intuition and your feeling says go for a walk now, go, because there is a reason that they're getting you out. Whoever you meet, whatever you're exposed to, there is a reason for it. And just to jump back, when I said about how we can see the future, is that we all have soul plans, a blueprint of our life that we agree with our soul guide and our soul cluster family. We're with the same family every single incarnation, and we play different roles. So for instance, your mum can be your brother. And it delighted me when I first started becoming really aware of this, because this lady phoned me up and said, my son, is really scaring me. So I said, why? He goes, he's only 3. And he said, Mummy. And he just like started talking. And so she said, yes, Ben. And so he said, I was your mummy last time ago, but you are doing a good job. I just thought I'd tell you. And he kept insisting because he remembered the previous life where he was her mum instead. And so I've had thousands of those now, thousands of them, where we are now creating a generation since the Second World War. We're creating this new generation of children that are enlightened. And the whole basis of all of this is that they will be our new leaders. They will be our new politicians. They'll be the people that will sit in the UN and the World Health Organization. They will be the ones running governments. They will be the speakers of the new world. So we're raising them and bringing through this new generation through wake people, creating babies that are then going to be the people that will spearhead the light. The only thing that will get in the way to begin with is the AI. I've already been told about that. I'm going to have to do a download about that soon, because they want me to talk about AI. I don't know nothing about it, but there'll be a few power struggles with that, and then it'll be used to assist the awake, the compassionate, the empathic people. There will still be darkness. There has to be. We have to have a balance of yin and yang. But at the moment, the biggest message for humankind is send love, be love. Don't listen to everything that you're shown on that television, okay? And just allow it to be. Just allow it to do its thing. Every single catastrophe, disaster is just another digging the roots out to then plant new trees of growth, enlightenment, and we nurture those trees to bring us what we need. And that's what's happening. And it's, as I say earlier, it's a great time to be in this massive transition, because it was never planned. We were never planned to be that consciously awake. And I always say this, the pandemic, it just is beautiful, because they all wanted to do this big experiment on how we can control people, how we can tell them to stay in their homes. But what they didn't see, which Gabriel told me about ages ago, and I know it sounds like I'm talking to a bloke. I still can't believe I'm saying it myself, because I used to watch people say, oh, I'm going to Channel Archangel Michael, and I thought, what a load of pants. Oh, how they laughed. And so he said to me, why are you, oh, my throat's going, hang on a minute, sorry.
Take your
Yes,
time.
how they laughed. It's going, honestly, I talked for so long, I've kind of forgotten what I was
No,
talking
you
about.
answer all my questions. I was actually going to ask, would you be open on a final note, perhaps to do a channeling for the audience?
Absolutely. Let's see if I can.
But before that, I just want you, I can't wait to have another look at your YouTube channel, and I will leave a link below in the show notes for the audience. Where's the best place for people to connect with you?
My number one spot for communication, updates, news, and everything is my YouTube channel, Nicky Alan, without a doubt. I put all my energy into that space, because I find that my following there and the tribe that we've accumulated are so pure of heart. If there's any ego, if there's any negativity, they're struck out straight away. We monitor everybody that's there. I think it's trying to change my voice. That's what's happening.
Okay.
I keep trying to do this. I used to channel my voice calls used to change. I think that's what's happening. They're trying to bring me up a bit more, but no. So YouTube definitely. If you want to look, I do provide free guided meditations there. I've actually got some very professional ones created in collaboration with Neil H, who's the most incredible musician. He can't read music. He doesn't know how to play instruments. He literally sits and channels the energy of Dartmoor, which is where I'm going to be doing retreat soon. It's a beautiful national park here in the UK in the southwest. And he just then plays and he just creates music. You don't even know how he's doing it. So he's just done one in 432 hertz, which is the subliminal, calm, tranquil, healing frequency, because sound frequency is a massive thing. And it's a massive way forward for us, sound frequency healing. We're now using it in hospitals. Yes, it's accepted now, but it wasn't 10 years ago. And so go to my website for that, nickyalan.co.uk. But predominantly TikTok is where you'll find me, and that's where I get time to comment, and obviously interact with people that are there.
I will leave links as well for people that
thank you.
can just
Thank
click
you
on
so
that.
much. Yeah, the more we can grow, the better, because
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say with the pandemic, is that Gabriel said, oh dear, they made I'm going to say it in my language because they get a bit out thou, but they obviously use my mental memory of words, but it sometimes comes a bit posher. But he basically said, well, they made a mistake there, didn't they, Nicola? They call me Nicola. Oh my God, I can't stand it. And so does my granddad. Everybody calls me Nicola up in the spirit world. So anyway, he said they made a mistake there, Nicola, didn't they? Because they have actually trained humankind to watch the boxes. And that is why we're now putting our portal mediums on the screens. So inadvertently, them trying to control us has pushed this new trend of humankind watching the screen. And then that gives us, the thousands of us and you and all the enablers and interviewers, the platform to reach the masses, which is brilliant. It's not great that everybody's just stuck to their phones, but we are now getting heard more than we ever did, because we were thrown back in people just wanted to watch fat dogs riding a skateboard. But now, if you notice, we're starting to gain so much esteem and so much following, because people have had enough of society. They've had enough of governments. They've had enough of how the world's being run. And they're coming to people like us and saying, what have you got for me? Because I've had enough. So it's great. They totally mucked that one up, because we're winning on that score. We're winning all the way. That's what's happening. So I can see if there's anything he wishes to impart. There you go.
Okay. If you feel ready, perhaps it's a nice way to end the wonderful interview.
It might take a couple of seconds. Got my microphone, but it's selenite. Could you please give a message to humankind for us? The reason why Nicola sits in the euphoric state that she is because this is how excited we are to open souls to our frequency, our sentience, our knowledge, and our lessons. A pivotal part of humankind is reaching an apex in the next 2 years, 2 Gregorian years. And so we are residing in an energy of bringing you to surmount your self-beliefs, opening your energies up to the universal structure rather than the ecosystem. By doing this, we are eradicating fear, doubt, worry. We want you to be open to the new strains that are being brought to the planet, which is structures of consciousness, happenings, weather, animal kingdom, plant kingdom. In this, I mean that Ariel will be bringing far more examples of how we've affected our planet in a mission that our new generations shall plant the seeds of hope, and indeed plant the seeds of our physical trees, fauna, to bring us back to the oxygen levels that humans need to reside on this planet. We are also making people aware of the sentience of animals. We propose that in some part of the future, in the Gregorian years of this planet, we may not even connect with using those as a food source. This is something that we will be working towards, but humankind aren't ready for. Humankind are not ready for. The essence, if I have to be succinct, is to encourage you all to think of thy neighbour as equal, to think that no matter what colour, creed, religion, belief system that is held in your neighbour, you must send love. Even if that neighbour has created hate, created all of the negative parts of the ecosystem towards your structure, allow it to be, allow it to reflect back. This is why we've now initiated the Schumann resonance, to allow all crystals of the land through Mother Gaia to be structured to create stronger properties. So, for instance, Nicola would say, if you have someone that creates negative aspects upon your ecosystem, then the labradorite will be the stone to reflect their intentions. Send love. You have no idea how strong the love connection is from your paradoxical body. One side says, I can't. The other side, if you listen to that tiny mouse structure within your soul, will tell you you can. Send the love to where it needs to be. Don't concentrate on the negative aspects of what's being created. In wars, send love to the seraphim charges that are bringing up the innocence. Send love to the people that are suffering. Do not concentrate on the perpetrators, for they are being dealt with. We are exposing leaders, politicians. There will be more deaths. There will be more structures where we expose the people in power. There will be some naturally going up to our spirit world, some that through their own causation will be going up to the spirit world. It is not catastrophe, it is the way of the new order of how we need to proceed to end up culminating in a spike of acknowledgement of compassion. The age of Aquarius is upon us and is with us. There are various philosophers and ambassadors and portal mediums who have connected in with the age of the Aquarius. However, others deem it is not here. Let me tell you, my children, my brothers, my sisters, that the age of Aquarius is upon us. We are entering into a new realm in this Gregorian year of having what you title AI being brought into our systems. They will be bought into your screens. They'll be bought into your button boxes. He means, can you give me the words? Keyboards. Okay. They will be listening, of course. They have always been listening. As long as you stay connected to yourself, true to yourself, and just allow this to take its play in the term of technology, then we will deal with the rest. Some will abuse this power of AI technology. Some will embrace it. The galactics are working on implementing crystal technology and creating the balance with AI as it has its own sentient intelligence and frequency that we will monitor and ensure that it doesn't bring too much damage to what we've already planned. Again, the AI was meant to be incorporated a lot later on. However, it's been brought in because it synchronizes with the age of the Aquarius. Group structures, science meeting spiritual, science meeting base beliefs, and crossing the borders of the quantum space. I will not go further into this as we are trying to keep a compartmentalized essence of how Nicola describes our journey. What we will say is this journey will be filled with your love, your compassion, your empathy. If you feel intimidated by what is being brought to you from our portal mediums, it means that you are still residing in a 3D. Open your hearts and minds for what is the worst that can transpire. Open your minds and hearts. Leave religion where it needs to be. Don't indoctrinate yourself into belief systems that have been bought from your fathers and your ancestors. Allow yourself to push past your belief systems and connect with the one source. I leave you now aware of the energy that connects with Nicola and her resting periods of closed chakra point systems. We are sending Seraphim to the west part of Africa. You will know why, as it will be created on your screens in due course. We love you. We ask and wait for you to invoke us to assist us in your life plan. There is not just one of me or any other human titled archangel. We are a frequency. We are a wave of consciousness that you can connect into, and we will assist you and endeavour for you to have an easier incarnation on one of our oldest and most basic planets. We all send our love with peace, tranquility, and humility, being pushed into the ether with this verbal connection. Henceforth, any ears that listen to this vibration will receive the love and humility that has come from Source. That's just short of it. It's oh, hang on a minute. I love it because everything seems so brighter and weird and vibrant. So it's not, hang on a minute, I still haven't got my words yet. Let's take some more water. So it's not trance. I am just doing what I used to do with spirit people. It's either written up as script or it's like subtitles, or I just know claircognitantly that I need to say what he's saying. The problem is the word structure sometimes go a bit wrong, and half of it I can't remember. So when people make comments about what I've said, I don't really remember it that much because I'm not creating the thought. I'm not saying the thought, so it's not in my memory, if that makes sense. I'm just following, like just reading a story, I suppose, just sending it over. So I hope it made sense. But that's a very short.
It was very insightful, and thank you so much.
Okay, I remember West Africa, so let's see what happens
Yes,
there.
I wasn't sure about that. That was interesting.
I know. I wonder what I don't even know where I know Africa, but I don't know what's West Africa. I don't know what countries are in West Africa.
There's nothing like Google.
I know, exactly. That's my number one get in. But then I don't want to in case it creates a subliminal thought. I'm so scared to Google anything. I never do because I want it to be organic. So now what I'd ordinarily do is wait, and then something will come up about, that side of Africa for some reason.
Interesting.
It does feel more weather related, or it could be civil. I don't know if it don't feel great. And unfortunately, they keep giving me these blinking disasters, but it's a wake up call that we are killing the planet. We're hurting the planet. And Mother Gay was kicking back with Ariel to show us. And until we start, all of this business about, we have to watch our plastics and recycle, we need to do a damn bit more than that. We should be mandatory told that we must pick up plastics in the sea. We should have the government fund massive groups of people going in and removing the plastics from the sea. Because once the ocean is dissipated, and this is one of the biggest things Errol tells me about when I'm sitting by the ocean, it's once that's gone, we've got a massive problem as well. Massive problem. Because the plastics is going into the water system, it's going into everything. So we really need to have big, massive changes. And as I say, I get impatient, and Julianus, my guy, goes tick tock, and he says to me, all human time, divinely, we will bring in the right people at the right time to create all of this, and it will happen. So I'm like, okay, I have to trust. And that is a message to everybody. Trust the process, be love, be the most conscious you can. Do recycle everything, plant trees. Archangel Ariel and Raguel was saying about planting trees for bees. Bees, without them, we have nothing. So it's just, you can all do your little bit on whatever scale you can manage. It doesn't have to be massive to change the planet and the consciousness of the human psyche. We can all do it. It's not hard work. We've just got to be able to think, plan, write a list of what we feel we can do to help, because one person's never going to do it, but an army of millions of people doing it, we're going to change the planet and the way that it's run. So we are the
Yay, I
power.
feel like clapping. That was beautiful, Nikki.
Thank you.
What a wonderful ambassador for all the realms that you are. Thank you so much for being on Passion Harvest. My gosh, I can't wait to listen to this. I feel like I've missed so much. I need to re-listen. So really, really insightful, delightful, and thank you so much.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me here. You're absolutely wonderful. I did say to you, you'd only get about 2 questions in.
Oh no, I love it. You're an easy guest. You answer my questions. It's perfect.
That's what everybody says. Easiest guest in the world.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Bye, Nikki.
Bye now.